Alright everybody, we are back. We are playing Quakecraft, and the message that I have chosen today is you will get discouraged. It's part of the job, but it's also one of the most amazing jobs you can ever do. Recently, I've been having some discouragement about a project that I was working on. I'm feeling better about it now, but there's nothing more discouraging than trying to work at a project and really trying to get it to flourish, getting it, like having it take off, and then all of a sudden being told, yeah, no, we need to put this aside for right now. And that's really hard. And I was really, really struggling with it. And as I'm talking about it, I'm like, okay, it probably sounds more emotional than I feel about it right now. I'm always going to be kind of like that connection to my work, which is, I'm sure any other writer, any other artist at all understands. Just, it's discouraging. You work really hard, you spend countless hours trying to make something work, and then all of a sudden you realize this needs more time, it needs to simmer, we'll come back to this. And part of you has that fear of, oh, this mean I'll never come back to that project. Okay, don't believe that lie. It's a lie, okay? Because as long as you still care about the project, you've already set it up for the best success by just pulling it out of thin air, okay? So don't get discouraged about that, okay? I've had to have this pep talk with myself a lot lately, and it is so hard, and I'll keep going with this. All right, but yes. So that project definitely, I didn't want it to sour, okay? That's the thing, is I didn't want it to sour, I didn't want it to get stale. But at the same time, I just knew that, like, it was my determination to just push through. And it's like, you don't want to do that. Yes, it's part of any process, whether it's writing or maybe it's a sport, maybe it's college, like education or something like that. There's always that point where you have to ask yourself, do I push through or do I not? And in a lot of cases, people are going to say, yeah, definitely, just push through. Okay, it'll be great. Hey, look, I got an achievement. Quake Banker 3. I'm pretty sure that doesn't mean too much, but hey, I got it. Okay. But so when I got done having a conversation about, oh yeah, I'm going to put this project aside, I was first relieved. And I was like, hey, this is fine. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, after all that, I'm like, nope, this doesn't. I can't say it didn't sit right, because it did sit right. It felt like if I kept trying, I was going to hate my project, and I really didn't want that to come. I didn't want to be at that point where I start to hate my own project. But yeah, so it's very important never to get to a point where you might potentially hate your project. It kind of breaks your heart if you get to that point. And I hate if I even get close to that point, because I just know I'm like, okay, I'm knocking on that. It's almost like a burnout and of just focusing too much on it. So it's always good to break up your projects, but I can understand, because with this situation where I had to put my project aside, it just felt so incomplete. It felt so hollow. And I was like, did I even achieve something? But then I had to look back and I was like, well, I created this brand new story out of thin air, basically. And all these characters that didn't exist before. This world that didn't exist before. And so I did achieve something, in that I took different steps to bring these characters in this world to life. So even if you never, in this case, like me, get to that drafting point where you feel like, oh, the only purpose is to get that manuscript. You'll get there eventually, okay? Don't give up on that. It's like me not wanting to give up on my one project. It was a contemporary suspense, which is also it's kind of outside my field a little bit, contemporary suspense, romance. So romance is still part of my field. But so it was definitely a stretch for me, and I have to tell myself that is in itself an achievement, because I always just write historical fantasy. So writing something that's more modern day was a challenge because I mean, some people would be like, that can't be a challenge to write. And I'm like, no, that was a challenge. Okay. It's one thing if I'm talking about like, you know, pirate ships or castles or petticoats or something like that. But if I'm actually talking about like cell phones, like, do I mention cell phones in my novel? It's a contemporary novel, so they should exist. But should I mention them? Like, I don't know, because some people, the reason why they're reading a book is to get away from the cell phones. So you kind of have dilemmas like that, which sounds really ridiculous, but I don't know. That's me. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video on writers and discouragement. I know I didn't cover everything in the topic, but I just tried to cover a little bit, especially since recently I'd gone through that and I thought, hey, this is important, so let's get the raw material right here. Yeah. Also, I'm sorry for if I went on a tangent with that cell phone thing. I didn't realize how passionate I was about whether to include cell phones in contemporary novels or not. I don't know. For me, it's weird because I'm like, in regular books, you can include the reference to books, but to actually include cell phones in a book seems weird. It's a foreign concept for me. Yeah, sorry, that's so random. Okay, this might have to be another discussion for another time, but if you have any thoughts on it, I would love to hear them, and you can leave them in the comments, and I will try to read them. Alright, thank you so much. Until next time, bye!